I think a good place to start will be I'm going to give you guys a little bit about how I had the absolute pleasure of being Kingdom. We met via Ranzetsu. So I used to own a club in Final Fantasy called Royal Blood. It was a vampire nightclub and bar over in Crystal Cole. And Dummy was always super supportive of the friends, of the old scene in Final
Oh.
Fantasy. And the first time I saw Dummy, I will never forget. Walks in. Bear in mind, this is a vampire club, so a lot of people wear black. There's not a lot of creativity around here. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Dummy walks in with pastel pink head to toe and a little hat. And of course, the whole ass out look in the pants.
Ow.
And this was only the vanilla glam. This was only the vanilla glam. I didn't even get to see the magics. But I was just like, see that? If I lick it, it's mine. Like, literally. Do you actually remember coming over to Royal Blood, Dummy?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's very, I mean, yeah, of course I do. I mean, I don't go out that much in games, so when I do, it's like it's people that I either want to check out more of or people that I support that I know. I mean, I try to help people out as much as I can just by being there. Sometimes it's just like an extra body for them, and that looks good for them some days. So I'll go there, I'll live my life. I'm usually in like 5 other billion different places.
Running away for a minute away from the clubbing scene in Final Fantasy, I would like to know how you got into Final Fantasy in the first place.
Oh my gosh. So like one of my good friends, my best friend Mocha, they tried to get us into this game like when it first came out, and I was like, what is that MMO? I don't do that. Like I come from Call of Duty, I come from like shooters, like
What?
I like merkin bitches, okay? Like Pandemic I got into it. I was like, okay, this is cool, whatever, let's go. And then I learned about the bajillion million other ways you can play this game. I was like, what's an ERP? Like, I had no
What's
idea. Like, I was
herb?
so blown away. I was like, I don't know what that is. And they're like, we'll show you. And then they brought me to like my first club, and I was like, you know
What
how to
was your
do this in
first
a
club?
video game? What was my first club? I want to say it was probably Succubaris Insomnium. It's like they're not open anymore, but sometimes they are. They were like the first like all night, always open, like late spot, and we would go there a lot. And then the Velvet Room. The Velvet Room was like my second in-game
Ooh,
club.
that's a very
Yeah,
good
and
name.
it is. And I befriended the owner. We kind of meshed. She was from a very like rough side of real life, and I have been there too, so I understood her personality a lot better than most people in this game. I think a lot of people who play this, they've never encountered a very brash person who will say what they want to say, when they say it, what they say, and how they mean it and feel it. And her personality was abrasive to say the least. But I saw
Abrasive. That's a
I saw
very choice word.
yeah, I mean, I like to see the good in people, and she had a lot of good. She did a lot of good for the community too. Like she liked to give back. She liked to always help other people and like do charity events too. Like that's kind of where I got the bug for that. And so we became good friends. And she's like, "Yo, do you want to co-own the venue with me and do all this?" And she kind of took me under her wing. And I got a lot of shit for like being her second in command, being like her right hand man. But I'm like, I will defend the hoe. Like, yeah, we didn't align on a lot of our views, but that doesn't mean I have to hate somebody.
So obviously, those were your first venues. And what made
Yeah.
you want to transition from a customer to a venue owner? Obviously, you had a friend that you helped co-own. How did you transition off from all of that to nowadays owning DV8?
Yeah, so I mean, I come from nightlife IRL. Like I was a drag performer, a drag queen, like club life. Like I did it real life too. Like I've been around the block for a minute now. And so just to see that in a game, I was mind blown. Like everyone else who finds that other underbelly to the game. And I was like, this is something I can facilitate easily because it's something that I literally do. So it's like, all
Yeah.
right, let's help out the people. Like there's a lot of fun happening, and I see like a lot of people that were struggling, and so I was like, let me help you manage this, let me help you do that. Like there was a time when I was running like three venues. I was like, no, no, no. I don't know. I fell in love with the community, just seeing how awesome everyone was. So I was like, let's try to build something cool and unique. And it took a while. Like DV8's gonna be 1 year in November, around my
Is it
birthday,
only
which is
one year?
cool.
It feels longer.
Yeah, but but I was doing everyone else's bullshit for like 3 years. Like the whole pandemic, I was running everyone else's bullshit, managing this and managing that. I never had something that was like fully mine. Like I co-owned two
Hmm.
venues, but like nothing was like my vision. Deviate, my whole vision. It's my baby. It's what I wanted since I saw like all these other venues.
I love also the fact that JV8 doesn't rest under a label. JV8 is a place for everybody. You know, I
Yeah.
love that. So how did you come up with the concept for JV8?
Okay, well, this is so silly. There is a Elizabeth Hurley movie called Bedazzled. It's a remake of a really good original film. And there's her headquarters, she plays the devil, and her very sexy headquarters were a real life club called DV8 in San Francisco. It ultimately burned down. It moved to California, like somewhere else in California. I think there was like one in LA too, but it was like a very like industrial girls in cages, like lights. Like it was like a quintessential like discotheque club vibe, but like sexy and dark. And I was like, oh, I love that. Like, of course, like that would be her lair, DV8. Like that's so cute. And like the word, I loved how easy it was to spell DV8, but it also has like two meanings. Like like deviate.
Yeah.
Deviate from a path, or like deviant, like you could like turn it dirty. So it's like, okay, I want that. I want that.
What would you say to anyone that wants to get into the clubbing scene in Final Fantasy? What would you say are some do's and don'ts of the clubbing scene?
Do make mistakes and don't lie about it, okay? Like things are gonna happen. It's not easy, but like you're gonna fuck up, and when you do, just own up to it. There's maybe one instance that I would like to make peace with someone about, but like it's so far back for me. I'm like whatever. But like shit happens. This community is really cool, but there are a lot of really mean, fucked up people there that are just gonna like try to bring you down. And so like I say watch out for those people, look for the red flags, don't fall for them. May. Um, but like find your people. There are so many cool people in this game. Like you just need to find the ones that you can vibe with, and that's it. But if you want to start a venue, it's a lot. It's going to be a lot. You need a good circle of people who can help you. It's a lot of time management. It's a lot of managing people. It's almost pretty much like a real life job that you don't get paid for. And there are some
Yeah.
people who are like, "Oh, we do this for fun. We do this for have fun." Yeah, we do. I do too. But like, so much goes into it that people don't even understand. Like making flyers, booking DJs. DJs are such a big draw now, so you have to build those relationships. Like there are so many. It's like networking. It's this. It's that. There are places who just do pop ups and like, here we're doing it this night. There are a million ways to like run a venue, but like if you want something like legitimate, you're gonna have to put in a lot of elbow grease. Like
You mentioned mistakes. What would you say, in your opinion, are mistakes, quote unquote, that you would do again?
mistakes that I would do again. Hmm. Let's see. I don't know. Oh my God. Um,
It's a hard question, I know.
I think the mistake. Yeah, I would still mouth off on a bitch on Twitter if I needed to. Like that was fun.
Yeah,
I'll do it
absolutely.
again.
Absolutely.
That
That
was a good mistake.
Twitter,
I would do again.
Twitter, Twitter vengeance needs to happen sometimes.
Yeah, I turned it into a good moment for our venue too. We had a special one week. It was called Twitter Beef, and it was like some weird in-game beef item. But I was like, let's go.
What would you say? So obviously you've now made strides towards content creation, and you're also a budding DJ as well. But obviously, you do have a career in the nightlife. What things from the nightlife do you think that you've brought on board to game, and how do you think these things translated from real life into Final Fantasy?
Um, so like honestly, like for me, like my streaming, like when I do like the DJ sets, it's all very performative for me. And so like having that stage experience, like knowing how to perform for people, that's kind of what you're doing when you're streaming. Like you're not just like some people are, but like if you really want to like entertain and have those people, you need something to draw them in. Like I'm not always like on top, but like when I do my DJ sets, like that's an hour of me fully like pumping and going and going and going.
And we're gonna be diving back into more personal things and getting to know other sides of you. Obviously, now you live in New York.
Yeah.
And what are some of the favorite things, some of your favorite things about the city?
The favorite things about my city is that one, weed is legal here recreationally, so I can like literally walk to my corner and buy weed if I want. What else do I love about the city? I was attacked by Olivia Rodrigo the other day. I walked out of Target and there's this cute little like this cute little woman crossing the street. I was like, oh, I love that outfit. And then these like two big bodyguards are like, oh, 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 and I'm like, fuck. And I was like, oh my god, that's that little
That's
Olivia
a
Rodrigo girl. I was like, I just saw her CDs in Target, and I was like making fun of it. I was like, who has a CD display anymore? Like, what? It like took me back to the 2000s. It was like cute. It was like a whole moment, and then I was like, okay, whatever. And then I leave Target, and there the bitch is. I was like, oh, did I summon her? Did I summon Olivia Rodrigo? But I just love like the city is just full of like energy like that. You could be in a Target, you could see a bitch on a CD, and she's in the street. Like there's magic around every corner, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. One of my favorite parts about the city when I was a child was FAO Schwartz. Do you remember that
Yes,
store?
I miss it. I miss it. I mean, they still have the building, but it's been like so many things because ultimately
Yeah.
that toy store did close. But oh, I do. I love it there. I remember the
My
Barbie world. To go to the Barbie world,
Oh
they just
my
had like
god,
shoes, like a
yes.
lava lamp of shoes. I was like, I want that. I need that.
Obviously, fashion's been a massive part of your life, and you are very vocal about some designers that you're very passionate about. So, tell us a little bit about designers and also performers and content creators that inspire you.
So like I'm a Balenciaga freak. Cristobal Balenciaga was a Spanish designer. He was like one of the big ones back in the day when it was like Dior and like this and that. And so he had a very nice fashion house. He made very structured, beautiful pieces. It was almost like architecture. So I fell in love with that. And then oh, my purse in the background, that's like a Balenciaga bag. I love their leather bags because it doesn't scream their name. It's not like printed with like everything. It's not like a Louis Vuitton. You see that, it's just like, okay, cool. But I don't know. I just love the vibe. It has like tassels. It has like leather studs. It's very like motorcycle. It's called a motorcycle bag, and that's like very much my boy style. It's very like rock and roll. Like let's go. And they're just like it's like a nice leather bag. I love carrying shit. I don't know why I've got to carry shit, but I'm always carrying shit. So I gotta have bags. And I think it was The Simple Life. I saw Nicole Richie with all these purses, all the same different style, but in like different sizes and different colors. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I learned it was a Balenciaga purse. I was like, oh my god, I gotta get those. I gotta collect those. So she bit me with the Balenciaga bug, and I've been collecting bags ever since.
Ever since.
Yeah.
So before Kingdom was Kingdom and Kingdom was fabulous, what about Little Kingdom? What were you like
Aw.
as a child?
Oh my God, I was obsessed with Barbie. I had to have girl everything. It was always when we went to like McDonald's, it was like the girl toy. I was like, I gotta get the girl toy. Um, so Barbie was my best friend. She still is. Like we chill. Like we're good Barbie. And then I grew up like my grandmother was so glamorous. She was like the most glamorous woman I had known as a child. And I used to look at all her old photos, and she had like beautiful, like gorgeous glamour shots. She's got a very gorgeous bone structure. She is from Mexico, but we're all very white passing. But she has very distinct like Mexican features, and she used to always do her hair very glamour. Like I've got really good memories of just remembering like seeing my grandmother at her vanity and me just like sitting on her fur carpet, just watching her get ready. I really loved that moment. It was like very like ritualistic for her.
And what were your parents like? Were they quite accepting of you being different? Was it an uphill climb? What was the relationship with them like? And also the grandmother and the family in general?
So I mean, my mother had me very young. She was a teenage mom, and it's kind of like a sad story. I learned like later, my grandmother stepped in, was finally like, "No, you're not having abortion again." Like I don't know what my mom did. I don't know how many times, but she stepped in and was like, "This is gonna happen," and here I was.
You were meant to be here.
Right, right. I was planned. But my biological father, he's deceased, but don't worry about it. I only knew him for like a week when I was 14, and it was the worst week of my life. The only really good thing to come out of that was like getting to meet the new family that he made, and he made a really significant impact on I guess my stepsister Angie, um, and that made me feel good about him. Like that was a very redeeming quality for me. Her and I like kind of reconnected at one moment. And she's like she was shocked to hear that I didn't really have the best times with him, but when I heard like that he was there for her and like he did all that good stuff, I'm like, well, thank God. I'm glad that he was a good man for someone, and he helped he helped her when she really needed a dad. Like that touched me. And the best thing about meeting him, honestly, was meeting his grandmother. His not his grandmother, his mother, my grandmother. She was another great woman. We lost her to cancer, unfortunately, a long time ago. But she couldn't care less about why I was gay, if I was gay. I was gay. Everyone knew I was gay. She just wanted to know me. She's like, I want to get to know you finally. I want to know my grandson. And she didn't give two fucks about anything. Like she was a woman from Dallas, Texas. So like that's a very that's not a very like gay accepting spot, but she was that woman. She
She was
adopted
making the
two.
difference.
Yeah, she really was. She adopted two girls from what is that island? Djibouti. It's a French-speaking island. She had two beautiful black daughters from Djibouti, and they spoke French. Like it was a whole thing. Like she was a remarkable woman. Um, but yeah, family life other than that, like it was rocky. I will say I am definitely closer to my grandmother. My grandmother did do a lot of like the mothering and the raising for me since my mom was still going through college. You know, she was trying to better herself too. My first words were actually to my grandmother. I called her mommy, and my mom flung around so quick. She's like, "What did he say?" My grandmother is so quick on her toes that she said, "Oh, he said Ami, like AMI." So now that's what I call her. She's Ami.
While we're talking about the past, what is your favorite early childhood memory?
Okay, so this is a fun one. I had I had just gotten my tricycle wheels taken off of my bike, you see. Oh, and I was so ready to go, and I was just like, I learned how to do like really hard turns because I had no tricycle wheels. I was like, let's go, and I did a hard turn, and bam, right into our neighbor's back bumper of his car, who was also sitting on his porch watching me act a fool. My parents turned to him and like shock, and he's just like, he's fine, let him be a kid. Like, I'm just there like, oh,
Were you
just a
into
little
any
speedo.
sports in high school?
I tried a lot of sports. High school, I was actually, I don't want to say it. I was a cheerleader
Go.
for a short bit
Yes, let's
of time.
go.
I was a male cheerleader. I did. I cheered. I lead. I didn't really lead, but I cheerlead. It was cute. It was fun. I was a male flyer, which was like kind of a weird thing. That's like the person who gets thrown up.
Mhm.
It's usually a girl, like a small, very nimble girl. But I was like this little small, little lanky, bony boy. They're like, "You do it," and we would get more points at competitions because I was a male flyer. It was like seen as like a better thing because oh, these girls are so strong lifting that. They're homosexual. But cheer was cute. It was like mostly good to just to keep me safe as like a queer person in school. Because all my bullies, I was best friends with their girlfriends. Like they were the hot cheerleaders, and they would try to like fuck with me and be like, "Oh yeah, we heard you're gay," like all this, and I'm like, "Okay, that's cute." And I would run in and be like, "Rebecca, your boyfriend said I was
It's a
so." And then you know what? You know what happened? Rebecca wasn't giving you no nothing tonight, no nothing later. Over the clothes stuff, like ooh, I bled so many boys dry. So many boys dry.
What are some
Or
adversities that you had to overcome as a teenager or even as a child?
as a teenager, oh my god, so much as a teenager, bro. Um, I I got kicked out of my house pretty early on. So I was like literally like a runaway teenager for a moment. I traveled to some places I probably shouldn't have with some people I definitely shouldn't have, but I was just trying to survive. So teenage years were weird for me. I had to do a lot of growing up very quickly. I lived like literally like an adult for a good period of time as a legitimate child, um, doing adult things that a child shouldn't have done. But like I said, you got to survive. I'm a very strong survivor. I will always find a way, and I did.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that you brought into adulthood from your earlier years?
Ooh, the biggest lesson. Oh my God. If it wasn't fun the first time, it's not going to be fun the second time. I like to say if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no.
Yeah, we're not gonna stay on the fence on anything.
Right? It's like we're either in or we're out, baby.
You are MB, or you identify as MB.
Yeah.
And when did you realize that about yourself? And what does that mean to you? What is your journey in terms of that?
So non-binary for me. Well, like I said, I was a baby in heels with Barbie. Like I didn't really get the chance to come out. Like it was pretty fucking evident. I've always been like very like I used to wear girls' clothes. I still wear women's clothes. Like I'll wear what I want to wear, you know. And so I never had a word for it. I didn't know what it was growing up. I didn't know about queer. Like I had to be an adult as a kid. Like I didn't get to learn those cool things, you know. Um, and then I found out more about that when I first moved to New York in like 2010, and I learned about all kinds of fucking shit with under the queer umbrella, and I was like, okay, I am this, like, because I've always felt very masculine and feminine. Like there are days where I'm like broed out. There's days where I'm like, that's a woman. There are days where I'm like, that's a who the fuck cares, bitch? That's me. And there was a moment where I was contemplating like, okay, am I transgender? Because as like a performer, I know I look gorgeous. Like people hit on me too, and that just threw me through a weird like gender dysphoria like loop. And I was like, Is this who I am?" Like I didn't know, and it just took me a minute to realize, nah, bitch, I'm just a girly dude, and that's cool for me. Like I'm very fluid in all of it.
I've got a question for you as a performer. Me as a cosplayer, I often feel myself more confident and more myself when I'm in cosplay rather than I am when I am dressed as myself. Do you
Right.
sometimes feel the same about drag?
Oh, absolutely. Like for me, it's like the second the contacts go in, it's like here we go, because that's ultimately changing how my eyes look to me, and that kind of like sets it off for me. Everything else is just a bonus after there.
When did you find out about drag? What made you want to become a drag queen?
I don't know. Oh, my first queen. That's so hard for me because like I've seen depictions of people now and I realize like, okay, like I've seen that as a child. It was like mostly like glamour. I was just drawn to like the glamour. Like old Hollywood is my vibe. And I remember I got booked for a shoot one day and they were like, "Have you ever done drag?" And I'm like, "What's that drag?" And then like the makeup artist and then
I just went
boom.
in.
Yeah, and then I went from just being featured in the magazine to like being on their cover. Like it was really cool. That was this fashion magazine called Kirameki. It's a Japanese magazine.
What are some drag inspirations for you? Some people that you admire as people, as artists. Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, so I've got a huge passion for dolls. I collect vintage Barbies from like the very first ones up until the 70s, very specific eras. I only like the old ones because they give me old Hollywood, very pinup vibes, like the way that the eyes are, it's like very a haughty vibe. And there are other fashion dolls out there that are very expensive. Like we're talking thousands of dollars for like a very fancy doll, but just the way that all their makeup is painted on has always kind of inspired my drag. There was a moment like when I was like really knee deep in it. I had no eyebrows and I would like hand paint every lash on my eyebrow like a freak, but I was just replicating what I saw in all these like cool dolls. Like I have a folder of like doll photos. And then like glamour aesthetic, my glamour aesthetic changes so often, but at the core of it, it's like very pinup, very glamour. I love corset. I love an hourglass body. Like I'm as Cleo out of game as Cleo is in game. If you've seen her with crimes, like you know that her waist is like one day I was like that. I have been very small. Like I did corset waist training for a minute. But like we do it. We like it. My drag name is Heidi Gloom. A take on the supermodel name. Because I that's how I got my take. That's how I got my start on drag. I was like thrown into it as a model. So I was like, okay, well I have to have a supermodel name. And I loved being behind the camera, well, in front of a camera, on any part of camera, like take my picture. So it's like I needed something to go with that vibe that I knew I was already somehow secretly curating. Um, I've done a lot of really awesome things with photo. Like I've been in books, I've been in magazines, like I've been in video, like I've done a lot of really cool things on my own. So I'm excited to bring that part of me to streaming.
Give us the dirt on the love life.
Oh my God. Well, I have been engaged. I have collected a few engagement rings in my life, two to be exact. And the only good thing to come out of one of my almost marriages was my two precious little chihuahuas. I broke up with him on April Fool's Day, and I said, "And I'm taking the dogs." Like he was a very volatile, drunk, little angry man. Like it was not a good time for both of us. Like it takes two to tango, you know. It takes two to toxic. I'm not innocent in what happened between us, but I got my revenge that day. That really broke him. It broke him to know that I was just like taking the dogs and up out of his life. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like those are mine. I'm taking them, and we are leaving your toxic ass for probably another toxic ass.
Do you
Um,
also have a red flag kink then?
I have a lot of kinks, but yeah, red is one of them in the shape of flags. Bouquets of them are quite beautiful. I miss having a little body to snuggle that's not a dog that doesn't smell or eat poop some days. Like I want a man, I want something there. Like it should be like a pizza, you know. We order him and then it's like there.
If you were to go to Build a Bear, but build a boyfriend instead, what would the Build a Boyfriend be like, head to toe in personality?
Oh
Like,
my
just in
god.
case we've got somebody in chat that matches that description.
Oh my god, that's so tough because like I can fall for like a frame falling off the wall. I'll fall for anything. Like if I vibe with you. But if I could order it, it would probably be like burly some sort of way. It would probably be like a little stinky at times, but like a good stinky. Like he showers and stuff. You got to be cool. Like you got to be a dog person. Please love some sort of animals. I love animals.
What are the dogs' names? What are the babies' names?
Okay, so I'm a weirdo if you guys haven't gotten that yet. My dogs are all named after poisonous plants. um,
Ooh.
so I have Belladonna. She's got a really long name. I'm gonna also be a little bit of a homosexual right now. Her real name is Belladonna Televersace Spring Summer Fall Winter Collection. Spring Summer Fall Winter. You gotta say it real quick. So we have Belladonna, which is of course named after Deadly Nightshade, and then I have Daphne, which is a flower with poisonous berries.
You have four-legged children. Do you plan on ever having two-legged children?
Oh my god, not after these. I've got two dogs to put through college. I can't have more.
So
That's
this
me.
is a gorgeous, gorgeous photo of Dummy as a drag queen. And first, I want to talk about this dress.
Like a lot of good vintage clothes were just like they were like that. I don't even know what it is. It's like some church lady dress, but it's like fully
Mm-hmm.
beaded, very heavy. And what's underneath it, making it like poof out like that, this is like supposed to be like a very like pencil tight to your frame, but I wanted it to flare it out the bottom. One, because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't I'm too tall for it. So that underneath is just like a little underskirt from like a whole nother big ball gown.
So you actually
Um,
made a different dress. So this
yeah,
part down here was a different. It was added
yeah,
on by you. So you've kind of stylized the dress
yeah,
to suit
yeah,
you and your style. And
very
let's talk
much.
about the hair for a second as well.
So that's all my real hair. I love playing. I've got long, long hair. I love utilizing it for drag. It makes a lot of things very much more easy, especially when you're streaming and sweating. It's like not as bad. So that's just a quick little updo. This set of photos I did like three different looks with this guy, and everyone was different. And he was so gagged. He was like, "Wait, who the fuck are you? You scared me." But he was blown away just by like how quick I did my hair. I'm like, bro, it's so easy to do an updo. It's like, whoa, it's old
How long would you say it
vintage.
takes for the full transformation?
Okay, so like I give myself 2 hours. It doesn't take 2 hours. At one point it did, but I've got shit down to like a science if I need to. The
Two
quickest face I've
hours
ever
doesn't
done.
sound like a lot.
I mean, yeah, but it's like I get shit done. It's like once you've been doing this for like as long as I have, over like 10 years, it's like shit. You know your rituals.
So tell us a little bit about this photo. What's going on this one?
That was me as Carrie.
Oh my
A
goodness!
good.
Yes.
Yeah, you see it now. So a good costume friend designer of mine made that. It's like a full bucket, like wire headpiece, like thing. So that was me as Carrie one Halloween. Don't fuck with me, bitch.
So tell us a little bit about this photo. And there's a special someone on the photo with you
Ah,
here.
okay, so yeah, that's my girlfriend and I, Willem. That was like one night. I forget where that was. Probably some stupid drag race party. I went to a lot of those for reasons. Um, and we just got snapped. Someone was like, "Oh my god, we gotta get a photo of you two." We were just like chilling, like shooting the shit. She's like, "Oh what?" And then we both were like, "Oh!" It was like a very like this was like we were just like hanging out, and someone took a photo of us.
Was this before Willem was in Drag Race or after?
Mm, I think this is definitely after. This is definitely after.
And have you ever thought about applying for Drag Race?
Oh man, me and Drag Race, we go way back. I'm a little sour grapes with Drag Race.
Uh huh.
I have auditioned many a times, but auditioning for them, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have and I don't have. You know, fun party. It was a space theme. I had just performed a Katy Perry. I came out with
Oh.
like this big dress that was like I had it like tightly like wrapped around me, but there were helium balloons under it, so it was like this big moment. And then I opened it, and they all released into the sky. It was beautiful. I had like weird backup dancers. and she was just I think she was hosting it that night with Big Frida. Big Frida made me get on stage and twerk for her, and I was like, oh, what no. And they all made fun of me because I was the white girl with no butt twerking, so I got to be that bitch for them. And then Willem was like, I hate you. She's like, I hate you, girl. And so like
Oh.
this is just like another kiki moment of us like backstage that someone snagged, like literally us about to go on stage.
This is one of my favorite photos so far because I love this look on you
Oh
and I
yes, yes,
think
yes.
it's fabulous. But it's
Yeah.
also another quite recognizable drag queen with you.
Yeah, so that's Detox and I. That was like a fun we did. I got booked for this place out in Virginia, and they were like, "Well, we also have Detox coming." I was like, "Me and this bitch go way back." So like that was just a kiki for us.
It does
And then
seem that
she
the New
got
York drag scene is so small. Like everyone knows everyone.
yeah. I mean, the circles that do run close, but it's like we would bump into each other at all these like big like drag race events. She's obviously there, so like she got to meet me through other people that I was there with. She's like, "Well, why are you here? Why are you cool? Okay, you're cool. Let's be cool." Like, she's a really chill individual. So that was a fun night for us. We were so fucked up in that photo. Oh my god, who the fuck shot this? This was for a
Can we
book. I was in
appreciate the poise and the figure as well in this,
Thank
please?
you. So this is from the time when I was living in DC, and he wanted to shoot me for his book. I forget what it's called. Jesus Cripes. I've been in so many books I don't even fucking know the names. But this guy was a really cool photographer. He really appreciated my drag in DC. DC was very like old school style. You perform as Tina Turner. You do what Tina Turner did. You are Beyonce. You are this. And I didn't want to fall into that, but I was their number one Lady Gaga. Like that was what really got me booked. And I would do that, but then I would also throw in what the fuck I wanted to do. I would give them two of what they wanted. One would be completely for them. The next would be something within top 40s that I liked, and then the last number, that third number was always for me. I would freak people the fuck out. This is the same shoot. This is the same shoot, different outfit. Like I got changed in his car. We
Oh my
ran
god,
down to the
these
White House.
boots!
Yes, I have a love
Ooh,
affair for high heels. Those are I don't want to say it, but those are real pony fur. I'm sorry, those are very nice Christian
they are
Louboutins.
gorgeous though. They're gorgeous. You
Yeah,
can tell they're Louboutins as well.
yeah. And I almost got in
Yeah,
trouble for taking this photo too. Security came out. We didn't have anything written on the sign, like that was totally put in afterwards. I
yeah,
hate the
yeah.
font. But they ran out after this photo was taken. Was like, you can't do that here. I was like, it's blank. But this was the one shot we got, and that was that. All hand embellishments. This dress, I forgot who made it. It was like an Asian designer. It was a very expensive dress that was gifted to me, and I am literally sewn into it.
I
um,
absolutely love also the how statuesque you are in this.
Thank you.
And the cinching of the waist here is just gorgeous. This
Yeah.
entire photo is just. I'm gonna also. Can we appreciate the legs, please? And again,
That
like.
well, like we did give good leg that day. I really was excited. This was like a new kind of posing for me. Usually I'm very like very burlesque or like I don't even know how to describe it, but like I've never done something where I was like very like hand in my hair, like feeling myself like that. But this photographer really helped me be comfortable and like find that spot. Like he's an actual fashion photographer.
Do you sew, by the way?
Okay, my grandmother taught me how to sew, so I can sew. I can fuck some shit up. I sewed some things for Alaska for her season of Drag Race, and they ripped it on the they hate it on the runway. I was like, well, girl, but yeah, we can do things with a needle and thread. But I'm no whoever made my outfit. I can't no. We'll hope so.
Kitty is saying that she's getting sexy Cruella vibes from that photo. I'm getting the
Ooh,
same.
yeah. So like
Cruella's sexier stepsister.
yeah. So like you can see the vibe of this photo compared to the other one. This is like usually me. I'm very like pin-up, like haughty expression. Like it's not usually like me like feeling myself. So it was nice to like step out of like what is comfortable for me. I'm always very fetish, pin-up, delicate hands.
Also, what we saw, what you mentioned earlier in regards to the Barbie makeup and the Barbie hair, that influence
Yeah.
that you have from your drag is very clear on this photo. Because this looks like classic Barbie, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this was a latex creation by a good friend of mine named Julie Malefic Couture. It was called. This is the same dress from the picture before, except backward.
And
Thank you.
again, the makeup is completely different from the pink dress and the hair and everything. Are these full length latex boots?
Okay, so those are latex stockings. Those were a bitch, because all that happens when you wear latex is you just fucking sweat. So in my
Hmm.
toes, it's just fucking toe sweat and body sweat, and it's just a pool of sweat. So every time you step, it's like, like when you have wet shoes and you hear it, it feels like that. You can feel it squish around. It's not fun. It's not fun. Oh my God, this was a magical night. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so that is a very fabulous, well-known makeup artist named Matthew Anderson. He did RuPaul's makeup for years, and I think this was something like Sharon Needles did something like she was performing somewhere. It was like some party for Sharon, and Matthew and I had been chatting online for years, and we finally got to meet each other. This was just a moment. Yeah, that's me and Detox one night, and that's our girlfriend in the middle. That's Trina. Don't fuck with Trina.
Tell us about
She stole
Trina.
our wigs. Yeah, so like this was in DC at one of the big clubs there, and they had a nice big backstage for everyone, and some queens would leave stuff there, and this was just a mannequin head that somehow like stayed there, and we kind of just kidnapped her, and I don't know, but I remember us making out at one point, and then we hung out with Trina. This was just for like a little magazine called Next Magazine. It used to be like a little gay rag that they just had out.
Just to double
That
check, you are the person in the middle, right?
I'm on the end in the green. The one in the middle is Sharon Needles, and then the
Oh my
one in
god,
front of
you
us
look
is
so
Chi
similar. It's
LaRue.
insane.
Isn't it crazy? Like it's funny. That was after the Porn Star Awards, and so we were just hanging out with Chi LaRue in the DJ booth, and someone snapped a photo of us. That's why I'm just
Okay.
like ah.
So we actually got to the moment that me and Dummy we
Oh.
were talking about earlier, and I didn't realize this was Sharon in this photo because this is so different from Sharon's normal style. Because I actually thought that the in the pink it was Dummy earlier, but this photo here, hang on, let me find where is the photo gone. This photo here that I liked so much, without realizing that this is got a lot of vibes of Sharon Needles when she was in
Yeah.
Drag Race. But here's the cool thing about it. I didn't know this, but Dummy, do you want to talk a little bit about this photo?
Okay. Oh, well, that's me and Sharon Needles outside the Christian Louboutin store one night. It was another drag race event, and the reason why I was mostly around this girl for a minute, like we had mutual friends, and eventually I kind of just like weaseled my way into her little drag collective called the House of Haunt. She was like my unofficial drag mother for a minute. Um, I forgot where we were. We were at fuck, what was that? Oh my God, what was Sugarland. We were at Sugarland in Brooklyn. We were doing like a witch show. Mocha can probably attest to this. And I did a song by Patti Smith, and I completely went ham on stage. I remember some poor little shop boy was like walking by with a tray, and at one point I just kicked it out of his hands, and he got so mad. He was so over me. But but after my number, like I walk off stage, and Sharon just grabs me, and she's like, "You're mine," and that kind of like just like that kind of like stuck it on, but eventually Aquaria would come around and steal her from my life. But we
Oh,
don't
let's have
we
a
don't, we
look at
don't
this
talk about
really
all that.
quickly. Look at the shoes and look at the transparency on the skirt, the
I miss that.
detail of obviously the corset, and this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous neck piece with the feathers and stuff. You have all of the Evil Queen vibes. Tell us a little bit more about this outfit because it's an incredible outfit.
Thank you. So that corset is by like a now defunct San Francisco like fetish leather brand. It's like a nice leather one. It's very easy. It gives you that good shape without having to like really cinch a
Mm-hmm.
corset on. This was like in my very like pin-up fetishy moment. The bra I'm wearing, that's like an original 1950s like bullet bra. Like that's like a piece of fashion history. It's called an overwire bra. It's
My
very synonymous with
goodness.
that. They don't make them like that anymore. Dita Von Teese tried to release a line with them, but it doesn't sell. Like women don't need
Because
that.
they were
Like
very uncomfortable, and if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, women couldn't have anything below this line here because it was considered what's the word? It was considered
like vulgar a little
vulgar.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I collect those just because as a drag queen, like that's the shape I want to create. I need that curve. I don't have that curve. So this
Mhm.
bra is a good go-to. Just like, oh, that's a boob. Like you see the shape. Oh, that's a good shape.
Yeah,
So
you
it was
don't
always like,
even need a what is it called? A breastplate underneath that.
yeah. I do love those though. But this, yeah, this was just like I love anything transparent, sexy. This was like a dress that I just turned backwards so that my bra could stick out like the low cut back. I love turning things backwards. Oh shit. Ah, yes. Okay, so this was a really fun night. That's another awesome photographer. The little man that looks like kind of like a little monkey dude. The one in between all the drag queens, not in the leather hat. His
Just
name is.
just to double check, you are the one in blue.
I am the one in blue. That's me on the
Okay.
edge. In a sea of black, I'll always be in a color. We've already touched on this. We touched on this earlier, literally.
Yeah.
But that was like a quintessential moment for us. Jeremy Cost, he's the photographer. If you see that collage behind him, he he kind of turned making a collage at a photo like Polaroid's his thing. And this was at the Andy Warhol Museum. We were in the Andy Warhol Museum. This is the Andy Warhol Museum. I've been in museums, bitch. I hung in museums for a minute. I'm still in the Andy Warhol Museum. Like that's cool in Pittsburgh. On the end, in the big blonde afro, that is Amy Vodka House, another House of Haunt girl in the middle. That's Sharon Needles. She was kind of like a little bit of a muse for Jeremy at a moment, and he met me through her, and he's like, "I gotta shoot you." And I've done some makeup for him. I've done makeup on his models. Like I've done a lot of really cool projects with him. He's got me on magazines before. I've been on a cover of magazines because of
Mm.
him.
Drag brings you a lot of happiness. And what do you think is the biggest message that drag puts out there to the world?
Wow. I think honestly that you can be anything or anyone that you want, even if it's just for 4 minutes on a stage, but you can literally transform yourself into anybody. I love it. Like I went from a very hard place and was able to like find a new me and lean on that person to get the real me, like, through some really hard shit. So there's a lot of power behind drag. It's a way to find yourself, like just express yourself through performance. Like there's so many other ways to just indulge in drag. It's not just drag race. It's not just like putting a wig on. Like there's a lot of other cool things about it, and I
Hmm.
think I love that the most.
Tell us a little bit more about your space because I feel like this backdrop that you
Okay,
actually use as part of your stream is very you, and I think it's
thank
got a
you.
lot of little trinkets that are very much quintessentially you. So tell us a little bit
Okay,
more about it, and also why the
so
fuck is there a spider climbing down your window?
okay, so that's a new thing I got from Target. It's like a Halloween thing. I love it. Everyone has like cool disco lights, but I'm like, I want something different. So I splurged and I got that. Okay, we'll eat ramen for a week. It's all right.
Hmm.
Um, so my background, that lamp, it's an actual stage reproduction of the lamp from A Christmas Story. My mother found it for me, and she's like, "You need this," and I was like, "Yes, I do." It's a legitimate handmade mannequin leg with a real shoe. It's like jerry rigged. Like I have it. I
Yes.
have it jerry rigged. That's all you need to know. And then over here, this is like a new addition. I found this cool ass bookcase just like in the garbage. I was like, we gotta get this. We gotta get
Garbage
this.
finds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I brought it back and dragged it. I dragged it. I was literally carrying it. I was like, my little body. And I cleaned it up and and I put all my vintage Barbie stuff there. So like these are all vintage Barbies from the 1959s to the 1970s. I got some Lego heads. We love Legos.
Walk us through some of the Barbies that you have.
Okay, okay, let me be a freak. Hold on. We love her. A funny fact. So all the Barbies that came out, they're like numeric. Like there was the first Barbie, the second, the third. This is a number three. So this was the third ever in production in the lines of dolls. This is like a late 1959 doll. The funny thing about this, it smells. Oh, you can't even smell it. It smells like crayon. There's something in the plastic
Oh my
that
goodness.
what happened over time, a lot of these dolls turned very, very pale. They turned white. Some of them are stark white, and they all smell like crayons. There's something in the plastic, so that's a
Are
really
those the
interesting thing about
original
that.
shoes as well?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I'm insane. These are everything.
Oh my
Sh-
days. They're so dainty.
She was the first toy to ever have shoes literally made for a left and a right. Her shoes are like that. A
Oh
lot of people don't know
wow.
that.
I didn't actually know
Um,
that myself.
this one, she lost her shoe just now, so we're not going to talk about it. This is another number three. Um, she is very rare to me because this doll has nipples. I'm not going to show them to you, but when Ruth Handler made the first mold ever of the Barbie, she wanted it to have nipples. She created this doll for young women to learn more about their bodies, learn more about femininity, womanhood, and she felt it very important that it should be reflected of that. her husband, who was also her business partner, he didn't like that, so
I
he
can
would file the
imagine.
nipples down. But due to the demand, like they sent the dolls to Japan to be made, but due to the demand, like they needed more molds, more casts. So some dolls were made in the original nipple cast. So those are a lot more rarer. And I have one. It's called Poodle Parade. Um, Funny thing, so these heels, Barbie had two kinds of heels. These are the spike heel. These are incredibly rare. I don't want to tell you how much I paid for these, but they were more higher than the regular heel. The regular heel is very kitten heel, and so these were very controversial. Um, and they didn't go into production, so I have a few sets of these in different colors, but it's
Mm.
a little Barbie lore nerd. The spike heels are a lot more rarer. And that's all I'm gonna do because if I do any more, you guys are gonna go brain dead.
The floor is yours. That means there's something you want to plug. Is there any project that you're working on you want to talk about?
Oh
Do you
shit!
have any
Oh
big
shit!
nights coming up on DV8? Tell us whatever you want to tell us. And if you've got any messages that you want to finalize your interview on, or anything you want to put out there and let everybody know.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for just chilling with us and listening to me be silly and Rebel and like fully like let me be silly with her. Thank you, Rebel, for having me. Like, I love you. I love getting to know you more, and I've loved getting to know you more. And I feel like we're really creating something special together, and that means a lot to me. So there's that. Please go give me a follow. Come through. If you like drag, I will be in drag every Saturday streaming. 10 p.m. EST is my slot. That's my 1 hour DJ slot weekly. You can guarantee on it. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of pop-up gaming in between with my girlfriends when it happens. So like, come through for that. We always have a safe space for weirdos or even people who aren't weird. Like if you just want to come hang out, we're always there for you.
I would
Yeah.
like to thank you very, very much, first of all, for the absolute pillar that you are for the Final Fantasy community and for providing such an incredible space where people can be themselves, which is JV8. Second, for being such a great role model for others out there who are different and who want to find themselves. You wear who you are on your sleeve and you're extremely proud of it. And that is so, so rare, and it's commendable. It's beautiful to see, and I
Thank
hope
you.
that you never, ever, 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 for even a second, doubt yourself. For that, because who you are is beautiful, and we need more people like you in the world. So thank you for being this beacon of light that you
Uh,
are in all of our lives as
Stop it.
well.
Stop it.
And also, I want to mention that you do tarot as well. And yesterday you did a reading for me, and it was
Yeah.
so, so, so crazy because we felt so connected, and I had
We were.
goosebumps as well, and
I
so
still
did
do.
you. Yeah. And I believe so much in energy, and whenever I'm around her, whenever we're talking, it just feels I feel the most incredible energy. So I wanted to thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for being in my life. I love you very, 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 very freaking much.